Rojas, you there with me, buddy?
I'm here, buddy. Good to be
All
here.
right. I was beginning to wonder that we had some technical difficulty, and I just love to get you on the show with me for sure. I know
Absolutely.
something drastic's always going to happen. So I guess you're off the trail right now, and you're at home in Arizona and resting a little bit. But I've been noticing on Facebook you've been doing quite a bit of fishing.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of fishing, Les. Actually, I've started to get ready for the 2023 season already. I've been busy here at work. The wind's howling out of the north the last few days, so I've been inside getting everything ready, getting all my tackle ready. But been doing some fishing. I was out yesterday, and then I'm averaging 2-3 days a week. Staying in shape, in
Yeah.
fishing shape. Getting ready, and I'm excited for 2023. There's a lot of great things that are going to happen on the horizon. A lot of great baits, the big bites coming out. Would love to talk about them.
Good, good. Well, we know you're always so energetic, man. You're always ready to go. So that's great. I mean, I just can't imagine. It's amazing to me how you just continuously have that enthusiasm and desire to get out there and fish. And I believe you've got some things you want to discuss with us today.
Yeah, it's just kind of cool. A couple of our big hits on Instagram and our social media. First off, is how I put my pro swimmers my jig heads, swim heads in tackle boxes. So this is a Gamakatsu brand G box that I have all of the swimmer heads in here, all different sizes. From your half ounce all the way to down to your 8 mixed in here. The cool part about it is, and I'll pull this up in just a second, but I want to show you the box itself when it doesn't have anything in it, what it looks like. So it's a Gamakatsu box, as you can see. Opening it up, it's basically just foam, and all you do is you slide the hooks in there, and it keeps them in there nice and tight. So the cool thing about it is you can carry different models and different sizes for that, and different colors and everything that Big Bite has. So it's great for your A rig, or if you fish for spotted bass. Which I love to do with those particular heads, is throwing like 10-pound sniper line and make long casts off the points and just a nice slow steady retrieve. And we've got a great lineup, man. The pro swimmers, the suicide shads, those are just dynamite baits in all the different sizes and so forth. So it's that time of year when they're balling up the bait right now.
That's right. The shads begin to gang up and the fish are feeding on it. So talk to us a little bit how you use those and all about it.
Well, basically, you want something that's going to be, you want a little bit longer rod. Anything over 7 foot, 7'3" is optimum. But basically, you have a 3.5, 4-inch swimmer there with the swim head on it. And a little trick that I like to do, and the swim head's a really good one, but at times it can be a little bulky on the actual top of it. So that I usually like to cut like the first little bit off there like that. And that way it lays nice and flush on the actual swim bait itself. You don't have that gap. I feel like it gets the bait a little more compact, and to where you can swim it through those schools of largemouth and spotted bass and get bites on it. The cool thing about the swim head is it comes in different sizes. Obviously with the spotted bass, you want it like a 2-aught. Sometimes a 3-aught, depending on the size of the school of spotted bass that you're after. But they got big, small mouths. They don't have mouths like a largemouth does. So you want something that they can come up behind it and grab it and eat it and get a good hook into them. Obviously, with all the swim heads, we all use Gamakatsus on that. So you're going to get good hook penetration from a long distance on a long cast like that.
Right. Now, let me ask you a question at that point. I know a lot of fishermen put a little super glue in there to keep that swim bait cinched up to the head. I know that we have real good keepers on our heads. So do you use the super glue or do you not?
Well, that's a great question, and sometimes I do. As you can see, the keeper on that is really good with the double hangers on there. It really grabs the bait and holds onto it. But any dab of super glue on it will help as well too. So it'll help. Our pro swimmers are so soft that they like to tear, especially with the spotted bass, and their teeth are so sharp. They tend to want to rake it, as you're either biting it or when you're fighting through, bringing them into the boat. So it's always nice to have your bait in contact. Plus, it saves your baits. You can get a couple extra fish off of each one. Plus, it has that fish smell on it too, so the fish like that as well.
That's right. Well, that's good to know. I know the anglers out there really like to know that little tip for sure.
Yeah, and I like to throw it on like real light line, like 10-pound test line. Sunline's a great line, nice fluorocarbon. If you want to go brave and go 8-pound, you can do that as well. Sometimes, on Smith, it gets super super clear, and they get real finicky. So you want to make sure that you have every advantage you can. So lighter line, they're not going to get hung up in anything. It's open water. They usually are suspended, so you're not going to get hung up on anything. Just loosen up the drag a little bit and fight them all the way back to the boat. So it's a lot of fun. And the cool thing about it, I mean, is with the swimmers, they come in different colors too. So you can put this on the back of a chatterbait or a swim jig. We're going to be getting into the months where the red is going to be key. And so I'm so glad they came up with this color, because there's so many times where you catch a bass and they spit up a prod at it, and it's this color right here, and you're like, I don't have anything like that, So the fact that Big Bite's making it, they can, all the great sizes. This is a 3.3, but they also make it, a 2.8 and a 4-inch, and all the way on up, to the big ones on the suicide shads. It all varies on what body of water you're fishing at, and the size of the fish that you're targeting will dictate, what size bait you want to use. Like if you go to a Gunnersville, you want to use a really big one, whereas, if you're fishing for spotted bass, you want, 3.2s, 2.8s, all those small little sizes will do great. But they also work really good on an Alabama rig as well.
Right. I know that red color has been really good. That's the flamethrower color, and then we've got the GP flamethrower as well, but I know those have been real popular. Lots of people have been very interested in those.
Yeah, and the cool thing, you have on the swim on as well. The kamikaze swim on. It's a great bait for a chatterbait or any kind of vibrating jig. It works good on a swim jig as well. So it's cool to have Big Bite making all these cool colors, and you have all the resources to do all that, which makes it even better. And they're good quality baits. The guys that are designing the stuff, and myself and the whole team all partake in putting things together. So these are all tournament tested by tournament pros that fish every day. So it's going to be good.
Yeah, that's for sure, no doubt. So, Brandon, do we have any questions coming in for Dean? I know we probably do.
Yeah, I've got a few things. Let's see. One that I really liked was, what conditions are you most confident in fishing?
Well, as long as there's water, I'm confident. I guess it would be if I can see some stuff in the water, I think I'm pretty confident about trying to figure it out. But that's the whole thing.
Tell us your favorite color of water you like to fish and condition.
Gosh, growing out west, I love clear water, and I'm a visual person, and I guess that kind of goes well with my frogging and sight fishing. I'm all about visually seeing them and watching how they react. Obviously, with our technology now that we have on our boats, with the active target on the rants, you're able to see them on a screen. But for me personally, like actually looking at the cover and figuring out where the fish are going to be positioned, and then throwing the right bait in there to get them to bite. Fighting frog is a tried and true flipping bait. I've done a lot of that. Our warmouth is great for sight fishing. It just, at my level, you have to do it all, and you have to be really good at it. So, but for people that are just weekend anglers, stick to what you enjoy doing. Obviously, things are going to be seasonal, but always keep an open mind and try new baits.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, well, here's one that kind of plays off that you touched on just a little. How do you think that different lakes set up, around the country, or what are some things that, you feel like have helped you as you travel and fish at the professional level, that you see commonality or just keys that you look for?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's something that I struggled with early on in my career. But as I've gone, done this for over 20 years now, I've seen just about everything. So, and I know what works and what's going to be the best bait selection for that. But for just a recreational angler, there are baits that you like to throw, you feel comfortable throwing, you have fun, it's enjoyable. And that's why I just tell them, because there's always going to be fish in different stages. There's always going to be shallow fish. There's always going to be deep fish, and there's always going to be fish that are suspended, mid-range. There's a lot of variety on what you can fish. It's because all lakes and rivers and reservoirs are all different, and some have standing timber, some are just rock, some have grass, shallow areas. So basically, you have to think about your local area where you're fishing at and the style that you like, and then apply the baits that you think would be best for that. And so, keeping an open mind, and really you're only, fishing 2 or 3 times a month, a lot of the recreational anglers. So a lot of it is just going out and having a good time, catching some fish and learning. You never stop learning. Even at my level, I'm always looking for the next thing. And so it's just keeping an open mind and just trying new things and having fun with it.
Absolutely. Let's see. This is one that I think that, you've had a few really impressive events and wins in your career. And one of the questions we got was if you could describe what it's like to, for everything to come together and to get a chance to hoist one of those, really big national level trophies.
It's magical. It's magical. It's a week that I've never gone into a week where I'm like, I have no chance. I have a pattern. I have a couple of them, and it's like things are just like they just fall into place. And every decision you make is the right one. And if you would have come there 5 minutes to that spot 5 minutes later or earlier, you probably wouldn't have got the bite. It's one of those things where at times you have to keep rotating your areas and managing your areas to where you could last the 4 or 5, 6 days that you're out there competing. It's one thing going out practicing like we do and catching a couple, and then managing those fish throughout the whole week. And there are times where I would lay off areas because I knew I was going to need them in the semifinals or in the final round. But when things start acting like you catch a 7-pounder like you weren't counting on because you hadn't caught it like that in practice. And then the next day, you stumble across something, you catch a 4 and a 5, and next thing you know, you're like, man, it's weird, it's happening, and I've been there many times when you know it, but now it's a time for you to react and to go with that, and to fish free and to relax. I know it's hard to relax out there, but it's really a time that is special. It doesn't happen very often. I have 5 big wins in my career. But I have a lot of seconds. I've got probably at least a dozen of those. But and when it's your time, you're going to win because things are going to happen throughout the day. They're going to enable you to win, and it can be a one-day BFL, your club tournament, or a big-time pro tournament like I am. And so it's really cool to win at the very top level. Like I said, it's magical, and it's something that we all dream and aspire to want to do every time we go out there.
If I had to guess without guessing, I would say if I went to your man cave, I don't know what would be more dear to your heart, that beautiful green Mustang that you got sitting in there, or that fine fish stringer of bass that you caught at Toho back in the day when you set the record. I guess that's probably pretty dear to you.
All right, we got to take a look at it because you brought it up. All right, so there it is, folks. That's the 45-2 mount. Right. January 17th, 2001. Those are the original weigh slips that I weighed in back then. They were mounted for me from recognition. Dave Smith up there in Oklahoma did all the trophies and everything. As you can see, my 100-pound belt right there for that achievement. And then up there is the mount. So there's 2 10s, a 9, an 8-12, and a 7-10 up there.
That's awesome. Totally.
And, yeah, so it's cool. But then again, you turn and look around, and there's the big hardware up there. Obviously my Bass Pro Tour, and then obviously all my bass trophies, the big blue ones.
That's right.
Tournament. So it's all stuff. So I'm very, very, very fortunate to have all that. I work very hard at it, as you know, Les.
Yes, sir.
And it's something that doesn't come just out of just sitting by not doing anything. So for me, it's enjoyable. I love it. I love the spirit of competition. I love fishing against the best guys in the world. And at 51 years old right now, it's cool because I can still do it at a high level. And I know I got a lot more years left.
That's right. That's for sure. We hope so anyway, definitely. Well, I guess that's kind of all the questions I have for you today. I just want to take just a second to wish you good luck in getting prepared and getting ready for next year. We always want you to do well, and we're always behind you and support you, and love to keep up with Dean Rojas fishing for sure.
Well, I love doing these with you, Les and Brandon. It's always fun to come here and talk about it. This is my fishing room. This is where all the prep work happens in here. I've got everything I need here to make everything 100%. So when I hit the water, I got it all ready to go. So it's just a matter of finding them little green buggers, and getting the bites. And, it's going to be a great year in 2023. I've got a really good feeling about it. I like the schedule that we've got and looking forward to getting out there and beating up on Kevin Van Dam and Jacob Wheeler.
That's awesome. Well, anyway, I want to wish you and your family a happy holiday season, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you shortly.
All right, guys. Thanks for everything, and thanks for having me on. Look forward to coming back.